great to see you. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Oh my God. I feel like I'm your mom. Like I've been interviewing you since Orphan, the very first one. So, oh my goodness, it's a long ride, my friend. But congratulations on this. You always pick such great material. And this one was so much fun from to watch your character Lori from the get-go. What was it about this one that you thought like maybe related to her and maybe just a little? I don't know. I kind of hope not, but
Yeah. What I actually really, so a number of things. When I read the script, it was like I read it so quickly because there's so many twists and turns. And I obviously don't want to give it away because I want people
no,
to
no,
see
no,
the
no.
film,
It's great.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
But what I loved so much about Laurie as a character was that she really is not just the audience's perspective, but she herself in this like world of so many question marks. She is a question mark. She's not really sure like what she wants to do with her life, where she's going, which I think is incredibly relatable, especially for a lot of young women
Yeah.
today. And she's not really sure if like she's ready to say goodbye to this life that she's used to and jump into this next chapter. And this night, this crazy circumstance that just happens upon her really shows her who she is. And I think that that was something I really loved about making this movie was getting to play with someone going through an incredibly difficult circumstance and coming through on the other side so much more aware of her strength, of her power, of her heart and herself.
Yeah.
And all the way through that, you're making an entertaining, really fun ride of a movie that I really think just like breezes by once you start.
Oh, for sure. And what a great idea for a story because storage lockers, I don't care what anybody says, to me, they're just the creepiest place ever. Have you ever like used a storage locker or put anything in one?
I currently use a storage locker, and I will say I didn't before doing the movie. And I remember being like, oh, this is actually like kind of a great idea to put
Sure.
your stuff in like stuff that you don't like old decorations, like I have clothes and paintings from things that I did as a kid, like things from orphan props like that. I'm like, okay, having it in storage might be a great idea.
Yeah.
But since doing this movie, every time I go to open it, I don't know what it is. If there's someone else in the building, I'm always like hair on the back of my neck standing up.
Yeah.
I don't like to go once it gets dark. I definitely am like always wondering what is in everybody else's locker. There was one day that I was there and there was like a noise coming from the unit above. And I was like, do I ask? Or is that weird? Like, do people use these things as like offices? I have no clue. Anyway, it's just definitely changed my perspective, and I ask so many more questions every time I'm in a storage facility now.
Well, that yeah, exactly because yeah, you led it up to it because in this film, clearly I'm not going to give anything away, but this is no secret. You hear, you go to the storage locker because you're confused as to like, what's in there that this guy wants to get it, and there is a person in there, like, oh my goodness, and
I mean, can you imagine? Can you
oh
imagine? I mean, that was the thing that when Jack Houston and I were laughing about because they would actually have to handcuff him to that like gurney.
yes,
And we were just laughing. We were like, we'll just leave you in here for lunch. We'll just see you tomorrow. He's like, this is crazy. And we actually filmed in a real storage facility, which is really funny. So there were times where like people would need to access their stuff. And they would like walk by and see the gurney and like all the cameras and everything in there. It's like, don't worry about it. Just keep going. It's totally
yeah.
fine.
Now, did you shoot this? I think I read this in the Cayman Islands. Is that true? This film?
Yeah, we were, it was in the middle of COVID, actually. It was 2021 in the beginning of the year. And
Yeah,
Cayman Islands was closed because it was an
right.
island. And so there was kind of amazing production cycle that started happening there where we were coming out and quarantining for 2 weeks, and then we got to like make movies like without crazy amounts of I mean, we were still getting COVID tested, but it was a different experience. I think I didn't realize how lucky we were there until I had done Orphan earlier, end of 2020, and that was like it was really
Yeah,
tough to make movie like because you're unable to interact with your fellow cast members. You're unable to see your crew members on the weekend. I mean, you feel incredibly isolated. And so much of making a movie is like going to a different place, being implanted with this like circus theater troupe and like making something together and being in
Yeah.
alignment on what you're creating. And it was nice. It really made me feel happy that I could actually talk with the people that I was working with and spend time with them, because that experience on Orphan was just so isolating that
Right.
this was like, oh, I get to like, if, maybe things will go back to normal and we'll be able to like
Oh,
hang out again, you know?
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the people you get to interact with in this film because I want to start with Don Johnson. I first off, I love the fact that he's playing this kind of mysteriously this bad guy, you know, to work opposite somebody like him, this veteran actor who, like I say, we know him from so many things, but he's
Mm.
just such a lovely man. What was it like to work opposite a guy like that?
He's such a class act. He's like really one of those people who is so prepared, which I love as an actress, where, he knows his lines backwards and forwards. He comes to the table with ideas. He wants to
Yeah.
play and like get dirty and figure out what we could like discover in the scene that's maybe not on the page. And that's like such a gift to work with somebody like that. And especially someone who has worked as long as he has. I think that that's it's always a surprise because sometimes you work on things and you meet people and they're fantastic, but they don't have they don't have like all these different ideas that they bring to the table. They just
Yeah.
come and they do a great job. But it was fun to play with him. It felt like we were collaborating on creating these characters and discovering who these people were. And he's just super sweet and kind and really was making jokes like as if he was my dad. He's like a real dude. He's like a really great guy. And
Yeah.
then working with Jack Houston too,
Yeah.
I've been a fan of his for such a long time, and he's just like a big kid. We had a great time as well. So I felt like I was, Lori is like the hero of the story and the female lead of this movie, but I was really fortunate to work with like such great gentlemen. I felt like I was like so taken care of. Every door opened. I was like, oh, that's so nice. I was like, I just
Oh,
got to enjoy like all the benefits of working with really classy men. It was
take it
great.
when you can, my dear. Take it when you, yeah,
A
I love
hundred
Jack Houston
percent.
too. His recent film that he
Love
directed
Jack.
was brilliant. I don't know if you've had a
Oh my
chance to
gosh,
see
it
it.
was
Isn't
amazing.
that amazing? I
I
was just bawling
oh,
the whole time. It was beautiful. Yeah.
he
I
was
mean,
writing
my,
it while we were working on this film, and it was cool to see, because he had sent me the script and we had talked about it, and I was really excited for him to make the movie, but to see all the choices and creative decisions he made, he really is like I saw the film at a screening and we went and got a drink afterwards, and I was like, you have to do this, and next
yeah,
time hire me. I was like, please. I would love to work with you as like a director, because working with him as an actor was such a joy, and I
yeah,
really feel like he's definitely a real artist, and he really loves this industry. I mean, he's grown up in it. He loves making movies, and like you can tell it comes across in like everything he acts in, how he
yeah.
morphs into different characters, and also when he made Day of the Fight. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him too. He's one
Good.
of my faves. I was saying at the beginning that you have been mixing it up lately. So it's wonderful that you're not just staying like in a horror genre and everything. Like you really are showing us all your talent. You're just so fantastic. And the last film before this one was directed by Julia Stiles,
Yeah.
co-starring with our wonderful Mina Mimsad, who is Torontonian, of course, so
Yes.
to do to do a movie like that, a dramatic love story kind of thing. What was, and you also produced that too, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my
It was
goodness,
amazing
like
to
look
work
at
on
you
that with
branching out.
Julia.
When are we going to see you direct?
Oh, very soon. Don't worry about that. Yeah, very soon. I feel like that's just kind of what happens as you work in this industry more and more. And as you said, you've known me since I was a kid. So, you work with a lot of great people and you kind of learn things along the way. And also as an actor, as you get older, you realize you don't have as much say in how a movie is finished, how it turns out, how it's like completed. And even to a certain degree as a producer, sometimes when you're working on a film, very often like you're working on it in a producing capacity, but more from a creative perspective while you're filming and in production rather than like on the back end. And I feel as I've, grown in this industry, I've just become more aware of the fact that, um, oh, I would love to trust my own intuition and make choices creatively
Yeah.
beyond just the part that I'm hired to do. I mean, making a movie is, yeah, every movie is such a miracle to get made. I mean, Julia was
Yeah.
working on the script for Wish You Were Here while we were filming Orphan and talked to me about it maybe a year later, right, as the
Yeah.
movie was coming out. And it took us a while to get the movie put together and made. And she had been working on it for a long time before that. And then there's the editing process after. So, for me, being able to be a part in more of that pie, for lack of a better way to say it, more of the beginning and not just the middle, but also the end, I think is just something that I really enjoyed and relished, especially with Julia as well. And so I really love doing that and hope to continue. And also, I'm really excited to make my own projects and, kind of it's a scary place to be in, but watching and working with Julia actually, and also prior to that, working with Kevin Costner, like
Yes.
seeing great actors like that take the helm of a movie, I just felt like such a sponge watching them, learning from them, and feeling like, oh, I could totally do this too.
Yeah.
So now I'm just working on what that first project will be.
Well, we
Yeah.
cannot wait for that. But you are so good in Unit 234. My God, I love this film and the twist, like, whoa, never saw that coming. So thank you
Yeah.
as always for your time.
Thank
Isabel, it's always
you.
a joy to talk to you and best of luck with this. And I can't wait to talk to you for the next one. So we'll
All
be in
right. I
touch
can't
soon.
either. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Have a great
Have a great
day.
day. Okay, take
Oh,
care.
thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.